Hello, everybody. It's Table Ready live stream time again, and today we're going to do a threesome, and we're going to deal with dynamic points. So list building is not my forte, as anyone who's seen me at a tournament can tell you. So Adam and Kristian are going to make sure that I know what the hell's going on. So in case anybody doesn't know who I am Harry. And apparently tonight I'm the fogey of war. And next to me is...
G'day, Adam from Dice of War.
And next to him is...
Kristian from Painting Panzers.
And you have been painting panzers. You've had a whole bunch of videos up in the last few...
I think I've only painted one panzer in the last month and a bit. So
yeah, you've been doing a lot of figures, though.
Yeah, lots of figures. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I'm going back to Flames of War soonish. I'm doing some Gurkhas and some 14th Army stuff. So, not
but you had a
you
had a giveaway for 1,000 subscribers, was it?
Yeah. So I gave away some 20mm AB figures and some Flames of War Stuarts, which they've all been claimed, so that's awesome. Just a shame.
Awesome. That's good.
Did Trekken end up getting in here?
Yeah, poor Trekken.
Fortunately not. But maybe I'll think of maybe a little consolidation prize just because I teased him with like, you might get something. And
terrible disappointment in German.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a special word for it in German.
Yeah, which will be about 60 characters long.
Yeah.
And sound aggressive.
Schadenfreude diesen Heinze. Yeah. Or something. Oh no, that's all our German guys gone. Sorry.
Yeah,
oh man. So tonight we are going to do dynamic points. Yeah, so that has been reasonably controversial. Adam, do you want to walk us through what that means as soon as you finished exploding?
Yep. So, Mid-War's been out now for a while. I think probably five years or so. And I think it was noticed fairly early on what some really good priced units were and maybe what wasn't so well priced. And you certainly saw a lot of martyrs in German list. And
lots of armoured cars, I understand.
And lots of armoured cars, and maybe one Tiger and a lot of armoured cars. Sorry, guys, I've been attacked by march flies earlier. I'm still itchy. So a lot of people, especially in the tournament scene, but have sort of been asking for, look, can we do a repoint? GW seems to do I can't remember what the specific naming that they call it, but every year they redo their points and make adjustments based off what seems to be working too well or not well enough in events. So a lot of players in the tournament scene, especially the TOs, were sort of suggesting the Battlefront, can we do something similar? I think we're calling it a tournament points versus book points.
Yep.
And what Battlefront's done, I think, is really, really good. I'm very, very supportive of it. I think it's a great way to go, where they're calling it dynamic points. So if you look at their PDF that they've got on their website, it pretty much explains in a little bit more comprehensively what I'm talking about.
What, you mean that one?
Yep, that one indeed. So I think they were kind of waiting till they got all the compilations out before they did this. This is why it probably took a little bit longer. But
so they wanted to get all the mid-war stuff
everything
in compilation books.
In compilation before they...
Right, okay.
Yeah. So
because there was a fan-led thing, what the Bunningrad points or whatever they were called, that were going around.
Which I was going to run a mid-war tournament using those. They've gone a little bit more comprehensive. I think they've included infantry. So what's basically happened in this is they've adjusted things like armoured car lists and light tanks that were underpointed. They've adjusted medium tanks, and then a few other things that seem to be maybe just need a little bit more tweaking to make it fit a bit better. But what they haven't touched yet is infantry. So a lot of people are saying that we really want, especially non-hero Soviet infantry. Seems to be too expensive, and it's not worth the points. And I think people were disappointed that wasn't done, but I think the reason they did that was because they didn't want to change too many things at once. And
that
so,
sounds reasonably fair enough, doesn't it? You
Yeah.
don't want to leap in and change everything.
yeah, this is not going to be a one-off thing. I think it's something they're going to continue on every year. So I'd say they said in November of this year they're going to look at adjusting the points of other infantry units and gun teams and things like that, after they've sort of seen, well, hang on, what have these changes done for the medium tanks and light tanks and things like that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So these are the main points that I pulled out when I went and read the PDF. So the first page of the PDF is basically them talking about what they were trying to do, what dynamic points are for. So it's not like any of the books are invalidated, are they? The books and the unit cards are still valid.
Yep.
But what they've done is they've changed some points of some units. And you can still play with book points, and you can use all the unit cards and everything unchanged, or you can play dynamic points. The only thing you wouldn't want to do is have one person playing dynamic points and the other person playing book points.
No. It'd be like playing V4 versus V4.3.5 or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably something to make really clear. You don't have to use these points if you don't want to. If you want to use the book points and you're happy with that, that's fine. But also, these are free. You can. These are free. You can use the PDF and I guess put the points in your books, which would be a bit clunky. But if you've got the Forces of War lists, which I highly recommend anyone that hasn't got them, it's only a couple of little extra bucks per list. But I mean, as I was saying to Harry before we started, I hardly ever use the book anymore. I usually use Forces because it's that convenient. Do it on my phone. You can save the list.
Yeah. I love Forces. I keep trying to push people towards it and say, look, if you just want to fiddle and play with lists, you don't actually have to have the book. You can go onto Forces. Yeah. It's $1 to buy a list.
And I think if you buy several lists, it gets cheaper the more.
Yeah. Because I have to keep buying them when I do reviews, so I just run off and buy a list so I can put the stuff in a review. But it means I've got plenty of stuff to play with afterwards, and it doesn't hurt at $1 a time.
No, the only thing is it doesn't explain some of the special rules. You'll need the book for that.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. But I mean, that's it.
All right. So, as you said, the changes are currently limited to medium tanks, light SP guns, and armoured cars. So that's specifically things like T-34s, Shermans, Panzers, so Panzer IIIs, which I think got cheaper. We'll have a look at that. But light SP guns, so things like Marders, because there were a lot of people who were doing auto-include of Marders for German lists. And armoured car spam, basically. You would take an armoured car formation and they were cheap enough.
The Finnish seem to have a few artillery units go up in price. But AA guns, also any self-propelled or any AA gun seems to have got fiddled with a little bit. The odd anti-tank gun, but not all of them. I think they're waiting on what happens. Yeah.
And so the PDF talks about that this is expected to change force compositions. So what's in a force rather than the mid-war game balance overall. Yeah. So it will change the meta for things.
Yeah.
But I mean, armoured car, even if an armoured car platoon is a little bit more expensive, armoured car formations are still a pretty attractive low point option.
Yeah, I think that's something that Mark Goddard on Breakthrough Assault sort of mentioned.
He had an excellent online article about that.
Yeah, he did. And I kind of agree. What Buningrad, the alternate points one, what they actually did was make it an extra cost to take the formation on top of increased cost
Yeah.
of the armoured car units, which would kind of extra penalise. Like, I mean, look, it's not going to stop you if you want to take one cheap armoured car formation and then slap a Tiger and whatever else you want in there, but you're not going to have as many things as you had in that force before, which makes it a lot more manageable.
I saw something that was suggesting perhaps you make the headquarters unit much more expensive. So if you wanted to add a recon patrol of armoured cars, then they would cost one thing. But if you wanted to take the formation, there was some additional cost.
Yeah, so you make the force card, the formation, the command card itself would have a extra penalty on that. It's included in the H cost, I guess, or it's included in the points cost.
Yeah.
So instead of it being 0, it'd be like 2 or 3 points for the card. Then you'd have to fill it out. But yeah, same.
So the idea is to avoid low-cost loopholes, so like having lots of martyrs or lots of armoured cars, but to make some historical forces more affordable and fieldable. So, for example, Shermans in the desert drop a ton.
American Shermans win big.
Yeah, same thing. So it just makes some stuff more useful. We'll have a look at some of the specifics of that in a minute. I think we might go through the PDF, Adam, if that suits you.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But the idea is the dynamic points are now set. So I think it was the 9th of February that they released a document and said, this is the dynamic points for 2023. But in November, they will look at all the feedback of what became too cheap, what became too expensive, and they will look at rejigging that again in 2024. So it's the dynamic point system is live and will be based on feedback to be able to make some more tweaks. Is that a reasonable assessment? That's just what I got from reading the PDF.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
All right.
That's what I've got.
So I'm sharing a couple of different screens here. So if this goes tits up, that's me pushing the wrong buttons, everybody. So let's see if the Fogey of War can get the PDF up. There we go. Yeah, look at that. It even scrolls.
Oh, magic.
Look at that. Can I make it bigger?
Yeah, there's a lot of changes in.
I can make it bigger if I press the bigger button instead of the smaller button. Okay, so let's have a quick look. So there are pluses and minuses next to those about whether they came up or down. So the M3 Lee Company for the Americans, Shermans came down, the M27 came down, M10 tank destroyers came down. A few people will be happy about that.
Yeah, a lot of those. So the M10s went down a point a vehicle. The Lees went down not quite a point a vehicle, but maybe a point every 2 or 3.
Yeah.
The Shermans went down 2 points. Not quite 2 points per vehicle, but like so 3 tanks are 5 points cheaper. So there'd be 24 points for 3 Shermans for the US. Now they're 19. So if you get a unit of 5, you're saving 8 points. Yeah, so that's the big winner.
Yeah.
Out of them. Yeah.
And something similar happened for the British, because I think it was 27 points for 3 Shermans, and it's dropped to 24.
Yeah, that's right.
That sounds right, yeah.
Yeah. Certainly allowed me to shovel more Shermans in my example list that we'll have a look at in a little while. All right, so what else? Universal carrier patrols went up, so they went up from 2 points to 3 points. Because they were too easy to drop in for 2 points with the boys anti-tank rifle, and you got spearhead and all sorts of things. So they've made those a little bit more expensive.
And I think,
but I mean that's not a big expense.
I was going to say, I think you can get 4 of them in like one infantry formation.
4 units.
Yeah, 4 patrols worth. So what's that? 12 universal carriers. And 4 spearheads. So
that's a lot of universal carriers.
They can't do much against infantry, but they can keep a formation in play, and that's what a lot of people.
And they've got scout as well.
Doing them for.
Deployment.
Sherman delivery system or something.
Yeah. So anyway, so the British don't actually get much. The Priest Field Troop has dropped, so that's good. I think that dropped about 2 points for the troop,
Yeah.
which was nice because
One,
they
half a point each.
half a point each. Yep, fair enough. Interestingly, because I always just take straight 25-pounders, not priests, but I might have to have a look at that again. So the finish, I know nothing about the finish. Adam, is that you?
I don't play much of the finish, but I made a note of what
okay.
the savings are. So basically, because the Soviets went down, the finish went down as well because they used a lot of Soviet vehicles. So
Yep.
their T-34 points, 3 of them used to be, I don't know, it looks like 33 points, 11 points each. So now there's 27 points for 3, so they've gone down a bit. A lot of their artillery has increased in cost. So it probably suggests that it was a little bit cheap previously.
Yeah.
The AA gun's gone up a little bit, and the BA-10, so that's your light armor or your light vehicle spam, that's gone up 1 point for the maximum unit of 3. So in general, it looks like they've just gone well. The artillery was a little bit undercosted there, and the tanks were too expensive.
Fair enough. So let's look at. I think they made a couple of tweaks to the Germans, guys.
Yes, yes, they did. So they've kind of they in the other document they kind of wrap it out in North Africa and Eastern Front, but really in North Africa, like all your Panzer 3s and 4s didn't really go down by much. They only went down by maybe a point or 2. But it was the upgrade for the long gun. It used to be 4 points to upgrade to the long Panzer 4. It's only 2 points now.
Because that is a big upgrade in mid-war, though, isn't it? That's a good step up in anti-tank.
It is. But I did think it was a little bit too expensive, especially considering it hasn't got super long range. Panzer 3 up armored, they've gone down a point each. Same as the Panzer 3 with the short 75.
Yep.
Panthers have gone down a bit. So they've gone about 3 points a tank.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so Seb was threatening at our next tournament that he's going to pantherize my poor desert British Boy Scouts.
Well, he could. There's still 15 points a Panther.
Yeah.
But they were previously 18 points. So, if you get 5 Panthers, it's 75 points instead of what used to be, 90 points.
I'm not worried. I've got sticky bombs.
Yeah, you'll be right.
I'll be fine.
Yeah. Panzer 4 late has gone down by a fair whack too. So they're by about 2.5 points each. They've gone down by. The big decrease is actually the Flamer Panzer 3s.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier when we were talking.
Yeah,
so the flame tanks have come down quite a lot. 7
of them for 50 points. Now you get 7 for 28. So that's a 22 points off for that one. And I think at the minimum, it's about 3.5 points. 3.5 points each.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is they don't have a main gun. They've just got the flamer and a machine gun. So they've got to get super close to use it.
Yeah, what's that, like 4-inch range?
Yeah, I mean, your machine gun's 16, but that's only going to work against infantry and maybe pin a gun. Yeah. So I think it's fair that they've gone down. I think maybe they were perhaps balanced before then, that the main gun was still active.
Right.
But it wasn't. So, yeah. And then your Stugs have gone down by about 2 points each, the late Stugs. Ferdinands have gone up by a lot, so that was a big whinge by a lot of guys. And I think kind of justly so that, I think it was 17 or 18 points for a Ferdinand. Now they're 18 points. 22, sorry. So they were 17 points before, now they're 22 points each. So,
and I mean, that's fair enough for what they are in mid-war.
Yeah. Well, you can't hurt them. Unless you flank it, and even then, they've got pretty good side armor. So, yeah.
That's awesome as well, because you're now going to pick the Panther over, well, personally, you'd pick if you wanted to go with a heavier tank or a tank hunter, you're going to go a Panther over a Ferdinand now.
Yeah.
for mid-war, like in terms of like something that can really pack a punch and has really good armor.
And that does
three,
make more sense, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
3 Panthers are still 45 points, but it's not, 50 something, 54 like it was before.
When I used the Ferdinand against Harry, I thought it was a piece of, on its own, it was just nothing. Like it wasn't worth the points. It just sort of sat there. It looked a bit scary. I don't even think I destroyed anything in the end because I kept failing my rolls and that. So in the end, it was like, was it really worth taking when, now you can get Panthers instead?
Yeah, but all I could do was bail it. I couldn't kill it.
Yeah.
Every now and again, the crew got a bit frightened, but then I just followed it around with my Shermans.
It was
was a weird game.
It was like taking the giant in Warhammer Fantasy. You didn't take the giant because it was effective in combat. You took the giant because everyone went, oh, I need to kill that, and they'd focus on the Ferdinand or the giant, and not worry about the other stuff. And it was the other stuff that was going to win you the game. So, yeah.
And what else went up?
Brumbar's gone down, which is good.
Yep, but the Hornissa and the Marder have gone up.
Yes, the Marder has gone up now to 24 points for 4 instead of 16.
No.
Well, yeah, but
it's justified. But cheap Marders.
So they're basically 6 points each now, which is
fair enough. Yeah. It's definitely
the Hornissa has gone up a little bit as well. So it's used to be 16
Hornissa.
points. Yep.
We have to pronounce it right, or Trekken will get grumpy with us. Hornissa.
Sorry, Trekken.
Yeah, sorry, Trekken.
Hornissa.
Yeah.
So, I think if you really want something in a German list that's mobile and to kill things, just take 4 Hornissa. 36 points. Even now, with the points increase, I still think they're well worth it. I mean, just don't get shot. But yeah.
Yeah. But again, in mid-war, it's a great gun. So as long as you're smart with it and hide it in woods or
hold down, concealment, all that sort of thing. Use your movement orders to get yourself out of trouble. And
does that mean if I pronounce it correctly, I can have some sauerkraut? Is that? I don't mind a bit of sauerkraut.
Yeah. The light tanks, the recon and the armored cars have gone up by a point each troop.
Yep.
The Wesper's gone down just by a point per 3. Hummel's gone down by a point each.
What was that? Hang on. There we go. There's some more up here. So Hummel.
Yep. The HS-129 Battleflight, which I'd never seen anyone take, has now gone down to 11 points instead of 17. So maybe you might take them. I think they look good.
They look great, but who would take them at 17 points?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. The Dicker Max and the Stura Emil have gone up, which makes sense. Tiger P, all the Tigers are the same, but the cost of the escort tank has gone down. So. By 1 point. And then you've got adjustments to the command cards based off the changes. So the only one that's really kind of not in there is the veteran Panther crews. So there was a card for that. You could upgrade them to basically veterans, so skill 3.
Yep.
They were 7 points, now it's 6 points. It's still a lot, but I guess, it's interesting. I wonder if you have to upgrade all of them. Anyway,
upgrade all of the
Panthers in the
all
unit.
of the Panthers to veterans. Yeah, although aren't cards usually like you have to buy additional cards to attach it to?
Yes. No. It has to equal the number of tanks in the unit, so you can't be cheesy and just upgrade one.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That makes sense. All right. So who else have we got? We got Hungarians.
They've basically just been adjusted based off what the Germans are. So the Panzer III that the Hungarians get, they only get 1 unit of them in the Turan, the T-38 list for mid-war, goes down by 2 points.
Yeah.
For the maximum, but the short 75 that they have with the heat ammo actually goes up.
Right. Well, you'll be happy that the Zrinyi goes down.
Well, that's the Zrinyi, that's the mid-war monster Zrinyi. So that's the one with the
Oh,
long
okay.
75. So it has gone down, and I don't know why. I'll take it. But so it's gone down by 3 points per model. So it used to be 11, now it's 8. So you
Wow.
can get 3 Zrinyis for 22 points.
So there are some big changes in this. Like there are some big numbers
Yeah.
being waved
There
around.
are, for some of them, there's some big numbers. A lot of them are just adjustments, but others are just tweaks. So with the Italians, the P2640 heavy tank, they've all gone down by a point each.
Yep.
But the Semiverde long self-propelled ones, which I think are gold, they've gone. So they're still AT10 with a 28-inch range. They've gone down by 2 points, a point each as well. Sorry. So the front armor's not great; it's only 4, but they can bombard as well. So they're quite useful. They can come out from ambush and kill things, and then they can.
So you're thinking that you might see more of those?
Yeah, but it's funny. Like, I haven't got a problem with those units, but I see a lot of people don't like putting them in tournaments. Mostly for the KV5, which I haven't got a problem with a lot of them in there.
Yeah.
And when I do run tournaments, I'm totally fine with the mid-war monsters, except the KV5. That'd be the only one that I say no, you can't use it. It's gone actually down in cost as well. I don't know why. I thought they were going to put it up in cost. The KV5.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, we'll talk about KVs in a minute because there was a lot of KV action happening.
Yeah.
So I noticed all the captured 25-pounders have all gone up for Italians and the Germans as well.
And the 6-pounders. So the Germans get the captured 6-pounders, they've gone up as well.
What, you mean, like the Germans didn't have enough anti-tank gun options?
Yeah.
They just like to have a variety, that's all.
Yeah.
So yeah, they the L6. So one of the big things I think that kind of brought this light tank span was the Italian L640 light tank platoon.
Yeah.
So they've all gone up by a point each, except for the maximum where you can take 5. It's gone up by 2 points. So I actually don't know why that last bit at the end it's gone up by 2 points. I just would have thought a 1 point in total.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's fine. So it just means you probably take units of 4 now instead of 5.
I'll have to see what that does to my Australians if I end up taking the Australian Divisional Cavalry thing. Because they were L640s, weren't they?
No, they might have been M10.
M11.
Well, they might M11 to whatever those ones are. Yeah.
M11 13s, I think.
Yeah.
I think you got a choice of L6 or M11s, but
oh, did you? Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I thought one of the famous pictures was didn't they have the L640 with the kangaroo on it?
No, that's M11.
Right.
13, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look kind of similar, but yeah.
Right. I don't know my Italian stuff, so.
All right. So Romanians, T3 medium tank company, T4 medium tank company. So those are obviously Romanian medium tanks, yeah?
Yeah, that's basically it's the Panzer 35 and the 38T. So the T3 is the 35T, and the T4 is the 38T. So they've just gone down in price by a little bit, I believe.
Yeah.
It
would be good to see more of those on the table.
I think my mate used to play Romanians, and there was the same problem with the Italians, is that you didn't know what you guys were like until you put them on the battlefield.
Okay. They've got variable skill levels and morale, have they?
So you'd be like, oh, these are going to be my big hard nut they're going to be my hard chargers, and you roll the dice and they're like, conscript, peasants that just have got no skill rating. So, that's not going to work. So, I think they'd be a fun army to play. I think it's good they're included. I think the TACAN, that T60 anti-tank platoon, that's probably one of their better units. So it's basically
now more expensive.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Martyrs went up. Anything that was self-propelled went up. So, the Martyrs gone up. Actually, interesting. The mid-war monster US, what's that called? It was the wheeled anti-tank gun. Was that the T-50?
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't know
That didn't go up. So
we're going to
Just
get some
thinking
more of
about that.
those.
maybe.
So let's talk about the Soviets. It's
Yes.
KV time.
It is. I think it is KV time.
KV time for everybody.
So yeah, that was interesting.
Oh, my IS-85s have come down too. Awesome.
Yeah, by a little bit.
literally everything by the looks of things. Bar a
Basically,
couple.
anything that's a tank for the Soviets has gone down in cost, and that was because no one really was bringing Soviet tanks in a Soviet tank list. They were bringing Lend-Lease vehicles because they were better and cheaper.
Which is not what you want to see when somebody's playing Soviets. You don't want to see
No.
a whole bunch of Valentines and
Yeah,
Grants and what have you.
Stuarts, Churchills. Well, the thing was, everyone would just take Russian Churchills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to see them pushing actual Soviet tanks more.
Yeah. So but the KV-1, which I didn't think was particularly overcosted, has gone down in cost. So by a point each.
Yep.
Same as the KV-1S, it's gone down in cost by a point each.
And your favourite KV-5s have come down?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why.
We've stopped you now.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. So they were 32 points for 2, which they got the same armor as the Tiger. I don't care if they got heaps better armor than the Tiger. Sorry, I don't care if it's 2+ to hit. It doesn't matter. If you hit it and you can't penetrate the armor, then who cares? So yeah, I don't know the rationale. I mean, great. Luckily, it's only gone down by a point. Pretty much, or 2 points or 3 point. If you take 5 of them for 77 points now, so that'd be your list. But but the big one that I think has gone down in price a lot is the KVA.
Yes,
the flame tank. I don't know how they worked that one out. Maybe they've just gone, it hasn't got a main gun either. Well, it has.
It has got a 45mm gun on it.
and it's got a flamer. So this is called, basically any Soviet army is going to have these things in, and they're just going to assault assault you.
Yeah. I loved mine. They are a top class unit.
Yeah. Interestingly, the Su-85 tank killer battery has gone down by a lot as well. So they've gone down about 3 points per tank. So, instead of 2 for 24 points, now it's 2 for 18, 4 for 36. So I think you'll probably see those more. Though you always saw them, but it was just a lot of points. So hopefully this will mean if the tanks decrease, you might see some more infantry. I don't know. But I think I agree. The T-34s, no one would take them because, they're hit on 2s or 3s if they're heroes. Yeah. And they're still pretty expensive. So they've all gone down by about a point each, roughly.
So you've looked all that up for us, which is great. But the PDF, the freely available PDF off the Battlefront website has all of the new dynamic points values for all of the units we've been talking about. So if you haven't had a look at that, if you've been thinking about dynamic points but haven't had a look, then you can definitely get this straight off the website, and it basically tells you exactly what's happening with all of those, including, as you say, there's the option for the Panzer IV Tank Company HQ to replace them with the long 7.5 for 2 points each.
Yeah, the Diana's gone. The Diana there as well, the Africa not Martyr.
Yep.
Did it go up or down?
Hang on, where is it?
Yeah, it went up as well. Yeah.
Did I miss it?
Up. Go up.
Go up, young man. Tiger captured. What's he?
Under the Martyr, on the right.
Oh yeah, there we go, Diana.
Yeah, so it's gone up by a
Tank
point.
Hunter.
So not as much as the Martyr, but they're cheaper. So, yeah, maybe a good buy there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the PDF. So I think we've talked that one to death at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's available.
Yeah. So if you don't want to buy forces or for some unknown reason, this is what you can use to adjust your book points.
Yeah. All right. So we've had a look at that's the main points about that PDF. So 36 minutes in, and we've only just stopped talking about the PDF. This is where you get to shine, Adam. So you can tell us. We all went away and made some dynamic points lists for an upcoming tournament that we've got, and we've basically going to show you what we've got.
Yep. So yeah, we've got a tournament in I think it's June now. Start of June, we're going to have a tournament in Perth. Operation Supercharge. That's right, Supercharge.
Yeah, not Supercharge.
Not Supercharge. I thought that was a pretty good name, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if everyone would have got it, but yeah. So it's going to be a mid-war 105-point dynamic points tournament. I've thought I'd punish myself by painting up all this infantry and gun teams in my Eastern Front Italian force.
Yeah.
I'm already considering now to just swap out a larger unit of infantry for some Panzer IIIs, just because they're already painted and I don't have to paint them. But yeah, so there's now they haven't touched the infantry and the dynamic points, but if you look at there's a parachutist assault engineer platoon up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's 6 teams. They're all fearless, veteran, deadly, and assault. And they get 2 flamethrowers for 11 points.
Yeah.
Where if you get the assault engineers, the Bersaglieri ones, you basically get 1 less infantry team, but 2 more Brixia assault mortars.
Yeah.
For 15 points. So, basically you're just getting 2 more. I don't understand why it's costed that much. They're basically saying it's 2 points for the mortars.
Yeah.
Each. So I was going to bring those guys, but now I'm going to bring the parachutist assault engineer platoon and paint them up as Alpini. I'll put little feathers in their hats.
So your list starts with support choices. So I'm assuming that you're using a command card to do your main formation, which is the motorcycle company.
Yep. So I'm having 2 teams with motorcyclistes, bringing the captured 25-pounder artillery, which now costs 2 points or a point per 2 guns instead of 0. And I'm basically turning my I'm going to use some captured ZIS 3 76mm guns to represent those.
Do you want to look at the other slide to have a look at those guys? Yeah.
No, it's fine because what they will be, that'll be the 100mm howitzer battery, and it'll turn into a captured 25-pounder.
Okay.
So it's up there. So it costs 14 points instead of 12, where it used to cost just 0 points, 12. Now, also that 90mm Lancia isn't a 90mm Lancia. It's going to be 4 47-32 Semivettas.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've got those Falco assault section. That'll be the planes that Kristian painted up for me. So they'll finally see the battlefield.
So you're not going to use the Falco. You're going to use the Fiat.
I'll use the Fiat model, but I'll use the Falco rules.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep. And those long Semivete self-propelled batteries. Then I'm going to use those stats, but I'm going to use a Stug long 7.5.
Yeah.
So I just like to do things that were on the on the field, like we're actually there. Instead
Well, given that you're the tournament organizer, then you
I'm
okay those proxies. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And what is yours a specific like brigade or?
No, I haven't gone that in
just
depth.
What was on the Eastern Front?
I haven't gone in depth. I have done that before with the British, with one of my British the Sherman list that we played last tournament.
Yeah.
But there's not enough information. Like I know which brigades were there, which had it, which self-propelled regiments. and I could probably do the company up, which I probably will closely match. But the Italians didn't mark up their tanks like the British did with specific regiment numbers. Basically they just had company numbers. So I'm going to try and match it as close as I can. So whereas the only tanks the Italians ever had on the Eastern Front was the L640s and the Semivettas, and they had the odd AB41 as a scout vehicle. They didn't have the Semiveta long self-propelled, one, because it wasn't even around then, and two, it was only in Italy. So that's why I'm going to figure sub those in for Stugs, which are pretty much the same. They've got better front armor. But so this is the rest. This is my actual company.
Yeah, so that's the actual formation, isn't it? The motorcycle company.
Yeah. So that's the thing. This is going to be, for anyone that's playing against me, easy to break.
Okay.
Because all you have to do is kill my company, and then everyone runs. So,
you make it sound so easy.
Yeah, well, it sounds easy. But that's why I've included that 20 mil AA platoon. Just because I want to fill out as much as I can of the formation. So they'll probably sit up the back and hide unless they can find something to gun down, like a nice artillery piece or something. But there was something interesting I read on the other day with the 47 mil anti-tank gun platoon. Everyone's rubbish these and saying that they're crap, and they are, except that they're not gun teams; they're infantry teams. So they can blitz. They can. They can. So if someone moves their tanks up and they think, right, you can't move, I'm going to shoot you, whatever, and they miss or whatever, they think you can blitz. You can then move and then shoot them in the flank.
Wow.
So that can be kind of nasty.
That will be a bit unexpected if you do that to somebody.
Yeah. And they only get to know that if they listen on this podcast. And if they didn't listen, then they're not going to know.
I'm here and it still won't make any difference.
You forget. You'll be like, what are those? And like, don't worry about them, Harry. It's puny. They can't hurt you, KV5s.
Yeah.
That's my list. It really didn't change too much with the dynamic points. It kind of shuffled some things around. It didn't really change my composition much because I've kind of gone more of a historical force than a tournament meta force. But I mean, I guess if I wanted, what this change did would mean that the Italian light tank spam is just more expensive.
Yeah.
You can still do it. You're just going to pay more for it. Which the big inconsistency I found in this was the price difference between the parachutist engineers and the Bersaglieri engineers. I don't know why. Well, basically they're saying the Brixia mortars are costing you 4 points more, and I don't think so. So I would expect later when they do the dynamic points for in November that hopefully they would change. I've already brought it up, but yeah.
Yeah. So this comes out at 105 dynamic points.
Yeah.
How much is it in book points? Did you know?
I can tell you right now.
Because the cool thing on Forces is there's just a button. If you go to your account page, you just press one button to flip backwards and forwards. So 107. So it's only 2 points difference.
Yeah.
For you. Okay.
But if I was to not be fancy with the assault engineer platoon, it'd probably be 110 points, so an extra 5 points. Or more than that, because then I wouldn't have taken the other thing. So it'd probably be even more than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I think next that brings us to Kristian. You waved a couple of lists at us.
I did?
So what's this one?
Maybe I showed you the dynamic and non-dynamic ones, the lists. They should be the same, I think.
Well, I hope not, because I've put them all in the slides. So,
go. I think
so there was one list that you had that said Burma.
Oh, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. Oops.
Oh, okay.
My bad. Yeah.
All right.
I apologize
so
for that.
Tell me what's happening here, since I obviously didn't understand.
So I'm doing a Burma list for the tournament. This is based off the 254th Indian Tank Brigade. So I'm going infantry, and British tank heavy. Using dynamic points, I'm only saving, I think, 2. So this is a 105-point list, and I only saved 2. So if I wasn't using dynamic, it'd be 107. So the only place I'm actually saving money is the Sherman armored troop and the priests that I've got. So this is where I think the British. I think all infantry are too expensive already, but yeah. So I'm going with my rifle platoons.
Oh, hang on, we'll go back to the slide. Sorry.
That's all right.
I was switching something and it blew up.
No, that's all right. So I'm going with my rifle platoons, mortar, Vickers, and a universal carrier. The universal carrier purely for the scout. I've used them before, and I think they're useless personally. But yeah, that's it. And the priests, I find very interesting because I know some people don't like to take them, but I know they've obviously been reduced in points slightly. I think it must be 1 point for what I took. And the fact that they're tracked, they have a rate of fire of 1 if you're firing direct, but the firepower and the AT rating of the priest is actually pretty decent. So worst case scenario, if you need an anti-tank gun, you've got 4 shots if you can get them in range. And then I'm taking the Grants and the Shermans because that's what they use. So this is based off the Battle of Imphal and Kohima, and that's the 254th Indian Tank Brigade actually fought against Japanese tanks. Which
so there's your support.
Yeah. So a lot of people, when they read about Kohima and Imphal, they think that it was just a purely Japanese infantry attack, but the Japanese did actually have some tanks that ambushed some Grants, but unfortunately for them, the ambush didn't pay off and the Grants annihilated them.
They probably just bounced off them. Ding.
Well, the story goes that the Japanese actually set the ambush perfectly, that they had their tanks hitting the side armor of the Grants, and just purely because of, I don't know, bad marksmanship or something, these Grants just turned around and destroyed all of them but 1, I think. And they didn't get a kill or a knockout, the Grants. So, but I say Grants, they're actually going to be Lees because they weren't using Grants at the time. I think there's a few Grants.
They had a mixture.
It was mainly Lees.
They tended to have a mixture.
It was they favoured Lees because of the MG on the top. It was very good for jungle warfare. So when they were going through, they had a better line of sight coming down over the top of the infantry, opposed to like having a smaller, I don't know, line of sight, so they can come up high and shoot down. That's why they preferred their Lees.
They had those counterweights on the end of the guns too, those short 75.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Look cool.
So was that the battle that I remember with the Grants actually driving around on top of, I think the Japanese were dug into like a tennis court on top of a hill, and the tanks were driving around trying to winkle all the Japanese infantry out of spider holes and trenches.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some crazy, like it's a period of history that, you know, a lot of people don't know about, but when you actually read what happened, you think, wow, there's a couple of VC recipients in that battle as well. Like, just insane what those guys went through, and the fact that, you know, they almost broke, which would have given the Japanese the advantage, was, you know, it speaks for itself.
There are a couple of battles there where the Gurkhas just threw back wave after wave of Japanese attacks on and multiple times too in different battles. The Indian troops really just gave it their all. And as you said, it's not really known about a lot of those battles. I've seen there's some good stuff on Audible with a guy actually talks about the Audible history. So he's interviewed the veterans, and then he actually plays back because he recorded it all.
Yeah.
And you listen to the veterans talk about it, and then he fills in the blanks in between of the battle. And I've read that what's that? The guy that just did the book on the Fife and Forfar Yeomanry. He tends to do a lot of World War II stuff. Anyway, he did one on Burma. That was a really good read.
That's embarrassing because I've read that Fife and Forfar Yeomanry book.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it to read it next. But
Forfar. Sorry, Frank.
Yeah, we're saying it
You
wrong.
gotta
I know
swallow
we're saying
it.
it wrong. Yeah.
Forfeiture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought taking like a Burma list is perfect, even though it's like
Yeah.
1943, 44. This is where,
Mm.
this full period you're going to. The Brits got thrown, or the Anglo-Indian troops got thrown, whatever the Brits didn't need anymore from the desert and stuff. And it
Africans
worked
too.
out being perfect for, and Africans,
Mm.
perfect for what they needed in the jungle. So, it's a good mid-war list, even though it's not mid-war as such.
And that's your one-man crusade to get the 14th Army unforgotten.
That's it. I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep forgetting them. No.
I'm obsessed. Now I keep reading about it and watching like the old films from back then and stuff. It's just fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
I'll send you those things on Audible, mate. They're really, really good.
Yeah, please. That'll be awesome.
And one thing, the Japanese did have a couple weapons that were actually pretty good at knocking out the tanks. They tended to be, I think it was 80 mil or 90 mil AA guns that they put into a ground attack role. And I think actually the only time the Aussies actually lost Matildas in the Pacific was when they were attacking an airfield. And I think 3 or 4 of them got knocked out by the 90 mil Japanese AA guns. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be swapping out the Humber with Fox armored cars, which is what you've provided me, Adam.
Where did you get those from?
And also the Kitty Hawks. They weren't flying Kitty Hawks then. I'm just going to throw in some Hurricanes, or I've got another aircraft, which is like...
They had bow fighters.
Yeah, they had bow fighters, but during info, it was mainly Hurricanes that I've read about that were doing the bulk of the work at the time. So I think I'll probably just go with Hurricanes.
Yep. Didn't they get Thunderbolts, or was that later in the war? Is that after
so I've
43?
got Thunderbolts, but that's later in the war.
Why don't you get the Volti Vengeance? They love them.
Oh, yeah. Hey, those are available in 144th.
Then they're
There's a kit for them.
They are.
I just can't afford them.
It's info, not bloody Australians.
No. They definitely use them.
I looked at the RAF info, and it was all
the RAF
Hurricane.
the RAF may not have them, but the British use them. The British use the Volti.
Oh, I'm talking about the Royal Air Force, not the Australian Air Force. Yeah.
Oh, well, we can fight about that one later.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. All right, so that's the same thing, but in a different format, isn't it?
Thing. Yeah.
Okay. So what am I taking? So previously...
101-point list.
You have a 1-point list?
101-point list.
Oh, 101-point list. No, I went and fixed it. So, I screwed mine up. So today I found out it's 105 points, not 101 points. So I had to go and quickly denumptify my lists. But what I've also done with mine is I've done an infantry list and I've done a tank list. They're both initial looks. They're probably not what I'm going to take to the tournament. And as I'm making them, I'm going, oh, damn, there's an awful lot of painting to fill in the holes with this. Because, again, a lot of the stuff we've been running with my Desert Brits were early war. So I've got a lot of Matilda 2s and things as painted tanks for that force. Not
lots
Shermans.
Of knees.
And lots of knees. Man, when the Boy Scouts go to war. Anyway, so I've gone with an infantry list here. So... Again, HQ, couple of full-strength rifle platoons, and just because it makes the formation harder to kill, 3-inch mortars, 6-pounders. 6-pounders are great. They're an auto-include for anti-tanks for these guys. Vickers medium machine guns, and hopefully I won't do what happened in the last tournament, which I let somebody else run my force, and he set up the machine guns behind the forest, so when they got attacked by cavalry, they were on the guys before they could wear them down. So that I'll try and put them in cover and dug in rather than somewhere else like that.
That's the good thing about the Brits is that their heavy machine guns can actually artillery bombard, which a lot of people forget.
Yeah, but not if you can't see through the forest you've placed them behind.
Oh, yeah, I know, but yeah.
Those tournament I went to bailed my hornice or however you call it, bailed
Hornissa.
it,
On
and
this
they
stuff.
fled just from doing a bombardment with their MGs, and it's like
Yeah.
this is just inside a 4-point unit, and they were like
Working
18 points.
as intended.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, the Vickers medium machine gun teams are good. Unfortunately, that's more painting for me because I've been using my late war green painted British guys for that. But I actually have a blister of desert medium machine guns that I have not built or painted or
more
anything.
knees.
So more knees. Yeah, more goddamn knees. Same thing with the mortars. So I've been using my late war mortars, but I do have Boy Scout mortars that I should probably put together and paint. And the only thing with book points change in the core formation there is the Universal Carrier Patrol, which interestingly goes up 1 point.
I don't know.
So instead of 3, it's now 4.
Do you think? What do you think about the cost of the British rifle platoons? 11 points for.
I think they're too expensive myself. For what
Really?
you're getting, yeah, for what you're getting.
I think the 2-inch mortar is probably overcosted, but I don't know what maybe it could be a point cheaper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say
maybe.
a point cheaper.
Yeah.
But again, I wouldn't cry about it too much.
No.
Oh, Allard's turned up. Hello, Allard. Good to see you.
Hey, Alan.
If they were a point cheaper each, I'd be really happy about that, but I'm not going to cry if they're not.
Hmm.
And the second half of that is I took priests instead of straight 25-pounders, but
More priests.
yeah, mainly so that I could show the difference in points. So book points was 20, they're currently 18. But yeah, I actually have some painted straight 25-pounders that I might be using instead. Honey OP, Daimler Armoured Car Troop, that was because I had extra points and I just had to shove something in. Pardon me. The Sherman Armoured Troop. So from 27 down to 24. I tried to take Shermans before when we played a tournament and I just couldn't.
Yeah, I think they were overcosted before, and I think especially
Massively.
with the loss of the volley fire rule. I mean, most of the time when I was playing my friend in previous versions, he'd just sit back with the Shermans and just. I thought it was. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think if they haven't got that anymore, then yes, they should be going down in points.
Yeah. And you can see why they would make them expensive. I mean, for mid-war, they are a decent tank with reasonable armor and an okay gun. I mean, they're not fantastic. They can't stand up against like KVs or anything like that. But as a workaday medium tank to take with your infantry, that's what they're for.
Did you consider the Bofors? When I was doing mine, I was looking at
it
like 4 points for 3 Bofors, and their stats are pretty nice. You could put them on an objective, and nothing's gonna.
And their anti-tank's nothing to sneeze at as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, XA7.
Yeah. No, I
very
definitely thought
interesting.
about that.
There'd be more things to paint though.
Yeah.
More knees.
But I will have to buy some command cards because you guys have kind of convinced me. I've always ignored them, but
They're only $1
even though I
in
can't. Yeah, they're
Oh.
only $1 in forces, but no, I'll have to go and buy some real ones.
You're taking 40.
Portees. I can't get the models, so it's been a long-term whinge for me that I didn't buy Portees when I had the chance. But I can at least take the stats for them to use them
You
as
can borrow
Portees.
some of mine.
Thanks, Adam, but I think I'll be fine. And sticky bombs. I persist with sticky bombs, but the people who get killed mostly by sticky bombs are my own infantry.
Do they blow you up still?
I don't know. I'll have to have a look at the command card. I just
I'll have
added
a
it
look.
because it's what my infantry take. But
So if you roll one, they used to blow you up.
yeah, they blow you up. And
Yeah.
I have failed an assault because I sticky bombed and blew up 2 out of 3 infantry stands.
Yeah,
And the guys who are left are just standing there going, well, that didn't go very well. Yeah, sticky bombs. I mean, to be honest, if you have a look at sticky bombs, basically a glass full of nitroglycerin with glue on the outside of it. Like, yeah, it's not an unlikely outcome that might happen to you, but yeah. When it does happen to you, it's not any fun at all.
Well, you'd be happy to hear that they don't blow you up anymore.
Oh, they don't blow you up anymore. Awesome. I might win. So just to be a complete rebel, and because it would be less painting of knees, I decided to just see what a Sherman armoured squadron for mid-war would now be. So the HQ's gone down from 18 points to 16. 2 troops of Shermans have gone down from 27 points each to 24. Field troop, yeah, nothing else down there has changed. It's not enough infantry for me. I would want more infantry. But I did take the Bofors in that one, Kristian. After having the 4 points, and they can do direct fire. Yeah, that's nice.
Well, yeah, I think a unit of Bofors, the 6 Pounders, and the rifle platoon, they'd hold an objective pretty well.
Absolutely. So the book would say that's 113 points, but I can fit that in my 105.
Yeah, that's nice.
But no sticky bombs.
Well, you don't need them. You got Shermans.
Yeah, I know. I've got Shermans.
25 Pounders and 6 Pounders.
And I mean, that's what 8 Shermans. So 8 Shermans on the table is not terrible.
What would you put in reserve?
No idea. I didn't think that far ahead. Would have to be one of the Sherman troops, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Shermans
and possibly the Bofors, which means they wouldn't be on the table.
It's be 40
No,
points,
you'd have to be more than 40.
Yeah, it'd be a whole lot. Yeah, okay. It'd be a lot.
You'd have to put both of the Sherman troops, the normal troops, out.
So 105, is it not 40 points? Do you not just make it 40 points? Did you just say it's more than 40?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like 41 or 42.
Right. Okay.
Spammer, I can't believe I took support options instead of more Shermans.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't.
Is there enough points?
You can't take another.
You sure you can't take another?
Sherman. You can take another Sherman in your formation.
In my formation, yeah.
You wouldn't be able to take them as a support because they're already in your formation.
And then most of them would still have to be in reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I found interesting with, and I didn't know this, it might be common knowledge, but the Honey Stewarts don't have HE. It makes sense with the price because they're only like 5 points for free or something. But
yeah, it's because the British didn't know what HE was in the desert.
Yeah.
So that was really weird. They had this dumb thing where they've gone, it is a gun for killing tanks. All it will do will kill tanks. You do not need HE ammunition for the Honey, 6 pounder.
For the 37 mil gun. Yeah.
Yeah. And their thing was that they didn't think it was particularly good. Yeah, but who cares? At least it does something instead of just whacking solid shot at people.
But I mean, the same thing as the 2 pounder gun. They didn't used to issue the HE round for that, even though one actually existed. And it's, you're in a tank.
Well, they had it. They just didn't give it to them.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't issue it.
Yeah.
And that's doctrinal. So, it's... What would you want that for? Jenkins, go away.
Yeah. That's not your job. That's the artillery's job.
Yep. All right. So I think that's everything we've talked about there. So that's dynamic points. We do have a tournament coming up in Western Australia. So for all of you guys like Alan and...
you're all invited.
You're all invited. Hey, if you want to come to Western Australia, we'll...
We'll even turn down the thermometer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice in June.
It will be nice in June.
Free sunscreen.
Freezing. Yeah, free sunscreen. All the kangaroos you can eat. So it's June 3rd, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes. Saturday, June 3rd.
Saturday, June 3rd at Northern Boards in Wangara in Western Australia.
Me too.
So,
Me too.
Yes.
Yeah, same. I think that's what we found with pretty much everyone in the WA like Flames of War community. It's not like about winning; it's about they just bring what they like the look of. And
Well, I'd like it to be about winning. I just can't seem to pull it off. But
no,
you know.
well, yeah, you're the same as me.
Yeah.
I
At least
just
I
don't like taking
beat you for the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's coming up. So for all our Western Australian guys, so Trekan's saying he should have taken the train 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Man, that is a slow train. I would
Yeah.
not have thought German trains would.
That'd be a long tunnel.
It'd be a long tunnel, but you know, by June you could walk it, man. It's all right.
Yeah.
At least ride a bike.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. So I just snuck this one sneakily on the end because I was doing slides. So Berlin German is coming. It is due in April. The date was announced and I couldn't find it while I was fiddling around making that slide.
I think it's around mid-April.
Yeah, I thought it was the 11th, but I could be wrong.
No, it might be a little bit later than that.
Okay, that's fine. Hopefully Battlefront will tell us at some point when they want people to buy stuff, because that would be nice.
I think it's around the 13th or 14th, but I'm not sure.
I nearly did a big boo-boo. I think I told Adam I was busy making the graphic, and I actually have a PDF of the rulebook that I hadn't had much of a chance to look at yet, and I'm busy sort of pulling things out of that to stick on the slide, and I'm going, oh, hang on. We're not allowed to show that yet. The embargo date's the 23rd or something like that. So I'll have to try and do something for then.
So do we think that the plastic Panther kit, and correct me if I'm wrong, if it doesn't already come with it, will it come with the infrared?
It's already on the sprue.
It's already on the sprue. So they're using the old sprue.
Yeah, the old. I reviewed that kit again recently, and right. It's not marked anywhere, but there's 3 little things on the sprue that are the gunner's sight, the commander's station sight.
I didn't actually even know that.
Yeah. That kit from 2012 has got.
I turned all mine into Jag Panthers. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I probably didn't know.
Sorry, Trekan. Yagged Panthers.
Yeah.
Yagged Panthers.
Yagged.
So Alan says, if he comes to West Australia, does he have to drink Foster's? Mate, that's just, we feed that to tourists so they don't come back.
You'd have to find Foster's. You can't even find it.
Yeah, no.
It's VB or EMU export.
What, Bush
really?
Chook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't know what suburb you're living in, Kristian.
This is the city.
We'll have craft wheat beer, please.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't live in the wheat fields and all that. We're in the city. We get whatever you guys don't want.
Yeah.
Did you see they're bringing out a new super strength VB?
No, because I don't care.
VX, and they didn't know what VX nerve gas is.
I was just about to make a nerve gas joke.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Amazing. Oh, man. Yeah, I know VX nerve gas.
Yep, VX bitter.
Not
That's
fun
what
at
it's
all.
called. I don't think they realise what that was.
Oh, man. Anyway, where are we? Let's do this. That's better. So this is what we actually look like, everybody, when the slides aren't all over the screen all the time. So, yeah, tournament coming up. Bulge German, so we'll probably have to do a Bulge German for the, Berlin German for the next live stream, won't we, gang?
That'll be fun.
Yep, I think so.
So, are you going to be talking about the tank training company, Adam?
Maybe.
Is that the thing that you're most excited for, or?
It's not actually.
No?
So I'm doing some articles now for the book. So I'll be doing something on Waffentraggers.
Oh, yep.
The bed bug, what's the name of it? The demolition carrier with all the Shrek launchers.
Oh, the Borgvard.
That's it, Borgwood.
Borgvard, yeah. Did I get that right, Trekan?
Probably. And then some other stuff on some other things that I can't talk about right now.
Oh, okay.
The tank training company, I think, is a fun list. It's a whole mix of stuff,
Including Panzer IIs.
Panzer IIs, Panzer IIIs, Panzer IVs, Panzer
Man,
whatever.
I so want to build that plastic Panzer II. I really do.
Yeah, it looks good.
And I think it might even have something like there'll be different between the HQ. I guess that would give additional benefits.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But no, it certainly looks interesting. It's kind of rolling. It's rounding off.
So that'll be late war finished, won't it?
Pretty much. Look, you hear this. Peter said something about a mouse.
Yeah, that's for much later on, though, isn't it?
Maybe they're going to do late war Leviathans like they did with War Monsters.
That would
I don't know.
Sense.
Pacific. Oh, I'd love it if they did Pacific next, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
But they are going to do Pacific, but
they will, but it's not on their priorities list.
Yeah.
So Spamurai wants to know if that box behind me, so that's not the Chinese one on that side, but that one on that side. Yes, that does have Ram tanks in it. Because one of the videos I did, what was it, last week? Was I actually unboxed the Comet Armoured Squadron. Finally, the damn thing's been sitting there since November, December. Yeah, I have an incredible pile of shame of stuff that I haven't reviewed, like hundreds of kits, Yag Tigers, all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm sticking it behind me so that eventually I can sort of start pulling it out and getting it done.
Yeah, Pine Gap, that'd be good.
Yeah, Pine Gap's cool.
Yeah.
Man, that's so. If anybody doesn't know,
go to Go.
If anybody doesn't know what Pine Gap is the US spy satellite base in the middle of Australia in the Northern Territory. I've been there, and there's nothing else there. It's a whole bunch of satellite ground stations and nothing else.
Yeah, ask him if you can go to Exmouth. They got the over the horizon radar there.
Oh yeah, that's always fun.
Yep, and you can put the sights on the Jag Panthers too.
On the Jag Panthers, yep.
I just didn't, and I don't know where they are now. So
you don't throw away your sprues, do you?
I don't anymore, but I used to.
Criminal.
So
you Philistine.
Yes, I know. Bad, naughty Adam. Bad.
Is there any actual historical photos of the Jag Panthers with IR equipment on them? Or is that something that BF have just come up with?
No, I'm sure they would have. IR with World War II.
Also, James says he's late. Is. Oh, yeah.
Of the Jag Panther.
Oh, the Jag Panther.
Yeah, not the Panther.
Not the Panther.
Jagged.
No, Yagged.
Right?
Yagged man.
So James says that he's late. He's very, very late, given that we're 14 minutes over time.
No.
Trekan, the ever-useful Trekan, says the correct name of the Borgward was the Schwere Ladungstrager. Ladungstrager.
The big, what's that mean? Big what?
Big knuckle dragger.
Ah.
Yeah, big knuckle dragger. No, that's entirely not what it means.
You mean the Borgwood demolition carrier, or the
Borgward,
or the Borgwood Shrek? Because didn't that have a different name? I don't know. Anyway.
So he was saying that Borgward is the name of the actual company that produced it. That the actual weapon itself had a different name.
There you go.
Yeah. So thank you, Trekan. That's very, very useful. So Spamurai is saying the government won't tell you, but the radars are free. You can take one home. Given how long they've been there, it's like they're just going to put a sign up one day saying museum, to be honest.
They've got big fences and private security.
Yeah, but I still think
I
all
know.
those radars are actually driven by steam power now, you know.
Oh,
You got to keep shoveling the coal in the back to make the
Yeah.
radar go around.
Um,
we should
yeah,
probably...
I guess
Brilliant.
one thing I wanted to ask was: is there anyone is in the chat? You know, do you agree or disagree with any of these points, or do you think
Yeah,
something should have been reduced more, or anything sort of come to mind? I guess for me, I still think German medium tanks are a touch overpointed. Well, probably medium tanks in general, but I guess I didn't want to reduce it by too much.
I don't know. They were taking the razor to a whole bunch of things you were saying with the number of points that were taken off.
But it seems to be the things that were like with low skill ratings or easier to hit or something like that, like soft stats. Whereas, the Germans, I don't know. I'm not sure if we'll still see more medium armor from the Germans. I think.
So it is important, if people do want to have their say on this, that comment here. Again, this is a dynamic system, so your feedback will inform what they change again in November when this thing comes up for review. So if you're not happy with something or some change that's been made, then you can talk to them and they will consider it. And again, the points will be reassessed in November. I actually thought that was quite a cool system, to be honest, that they were, looking at stuff, but locking it down so that it's not changing every 5 minutes. That, you made a tournament list last week, but now that you go to the tournament, it's actually costed differently or something. Yeah. You know now that those are set until 2024. So, I'm not going to be painting tons of knees and then go, oh, damn, I haven't got the points for that particular unit anymore.
Can't take all my knees. God.
Jagged Panther. Yep. That's how it's pronounced. So that's cool.
Bushwookies, there wasn't too much change in the Finns' points. It was mostly to do with tanks, that the Soviet tanks have gone down, so they went down as well because they used them. And actually their artillery went up because it was, I think, underpointed for what it was.
Yeah.
Based in Bremen.
All right, guys.
One more thing. The other thing I will say is if you do like the mid-war point, the dynamic points change, kind of say it publicly on Facebook that you are happy with it, because that's the best way that BF can see that, look, a lot of people are actually happy with what we're doing. And that way,
Battlefront resisted this for ages, didn't they, Adam? They didn't want to change it. The books are out there. People have paid money for the unit cards. We don't want to make any changes to it, but there was just enough pressure from everybody just to let them know that this needs some tweaking. And I think that the solution they've come up with is not bad, that the points are live, but they've got, it's set now until whenever, and then we'll reassess. I really think for them to actually come out and do this, I really thought in the notes for this stream, I put in there that we really should give them credit for the fact that they did come out, and they didn't want to, but they've now come out and gone, look, the Buningrad stuff is, people seem to like that. What can we look at, and how can we implement something similar? And so I really think they need kudos for that.
100%. And also, if you want to see something similar done for Team Yankee in late war, which I think can only be a good thing, the more evidence that they can show that, yes, the community wants this, yes, the community is happy with this approach, we'll see it then roll on to Team Yankee for T55 spam and 1 point Milan teams. And
I was just about to put you on the spot and say, what did you have in mind for Team Yankee? Because apart from, decent Australian historical lists.
That's not really a points difference, but yeah,
it's not really a points difference. It's just put the right things in on the force diagram.
Which I think they are. As an aside, they do know about that, and they
do.
That may be changed in the new Free Nations.
That's just my hobby horse, and I like to ride it every now and again.
But yeah, things like Milan teams, probably things like hot missile teams for the French, like those small, cheap missile units. I think they would probably increase the missile units and increase the Soviet T-55s and T-62s.
I would take a wombat team. I would absolutely take a wombat team.
And probably a decrease in the high-end NATO tanks. They're probably overcosted a little bit, like Leopard 2s and Abrams and Challengers.
So would you say, though, with Milan, I thought that with all the super tanks coming out, they're now not the super weapon that they used to be. Like Milan used to be, it's great, you can deal with everything.
Yep.
But, bounces off T-80s.
But you've got to have the points to bring the T-80s.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of people are going, well, my light tank spam still works, so why would I bring 6 tanks that can get taken out by aircraft or helicopters with missiles from the rear when I can just take heaps of spam? So I think I can only think if this would be a good thing for both late war. There's a few little things like the Windhund, the 116th Panzer Division command card that kind of is like a gimme for any German force. Like any sort of German force you'd see at a tournament in the late war would pretty much take that because it was underpointed. So things like that. So
Kristian, did you have any things you would like to see repointed in either late war or?
None that I can think of on the top of my head. Mine's more of like a. I'll have to see it to really have a go. I know the 116th was definitely something that I had problem with. But yeah, I think it's good mid-war that they've started on mid-war, and we'll just see how it goes from here.
Well, that's also the thing that has the most play since they've released it too, hasn't it? There's been.
I've not been too bothered with like late war. But then I haven't really seen, when we've had late war tournaments, it's never been like, oh, here's a spam list of something and somebody's got all this stuff. It's always pretty good. I need to see what other tournaments, what's been happening in other tournaments.
I can bring one of those lists if you want.
That's what you want to do.
I don't, but like that's not But I understand there is a lot of guys that just I must win at all costs, and I'm bringing the most cost-effective point. Whereas I don't, I like the history more.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So to answer Harry's question, I don't really know because I'm not looking at what can I spam. I never look at like I want to bring multiple of something. So I can't just say like definitely need to change this because I haven't looked and I haven't seen it come up on Facebook.
Yeah.
I must admit I did it to Ben. So we had Ben with us. He's my regular opponent. He was on the stream with us last month. And he brings his East Germans, and I bought Challengers when they came out, and that wasn't very fair. He was having a lot of trouble. He knocked everything else out, like the table was clear, but my 3 Challengers just wouldn't run away, and there wasn't anything much he could do to them.
But on a completely different subject. We've got a Facebook page that I think we need to promote so people can actually see when the live stream's happening and they can get involved with stuff they want to talk about from this stream and that. I tried to post something in the comments, but it wouldn't work. So for those that want to get a hold of us on Facebook or want to talk to us, talk about the stream, you can find us at Table Ready Live Stream on Facebook. Definitely worth doing. It's very new. We need to
because for a while we were just hanging this off the back of Fog of War, but now Table Ready's its own thing, and I mean this has been a lot of fun. I don't know about you guys, but
enjoying it.
No, it's great. So Wookie's just asked, do I think Team Yank will be brought forward to the 1990s first Desert Storm time frame? I don't think they're going to do that. I think what would be good to help sort out this spam really cheap point versus expensive stuff would be a repoint into like an early, mid, and late Team
Yeah.
Yankee period. I don't know. That could be something they do in the future, but I don't think it's anything on the cards yet because I don't even think they still know. Like, they haven't fleshed out Team Yankee enough yet, I don't think, to be able to do that. Because
I remember hearing, Nordic
Sorry.
Forces is coming out real soon. I remember hearing that Team Yankee was a bit of a surprise success for Battlefront.
Yes, it was. They
weren't
didn't
expecting it. Yeah. Whereas as a kid of the Cold War, I absolutely love it. To be honest, I would prefer to play Team Yankee than Flames.
And a lot of people are. Like, there's a tournament going on in Brisbane shortly, which they haven't. There was a Flames of War v4 period event going to go forward, but they just didn't get enough, and that's because I think a lot of people up there in Brisbane at the moment play Team Yankee, and yeah, I like it. I like Team Yankee, but I like Flames more.
Yeah, and I like it for the historical. So to go in there and to play my British with all their knees, because that's a period of history I'm interested in. But I mean, the Cold War was like, I remember that. I remember us trying to figure out what a T-72 looked like because we kept getting different pictures of different things and having to pick out, actually the road wheels are on that is different, and, you know, because you couldn't just go look that stuff up on Wikipedia back then. It was like, I've got this really bad photograph from East Germany of this thing. You know, what is it?
Yeah. And I will say, look, I'm not calling out guys that take those medalists at the tournaments because they're really only doing what the rules allow them to do. So
yeah.
You know.
But we're not competitive tournament players. When the Western Australian guys get together, we just want to see each other, get some models on the table, let Kristian win the painting contest, you know, that kind of stuff.
That's what
me get
like
curb stomped by everybody. Oh dear. So you mentioned BrizCon there, Adam. Yeah. So the nominations for BrizCon are closing really soon, aren't they?
Yeah. So if you want to, there's an event, a Team Yankee event in Brisbane. It's called BrizCon. I believe it's in April. It's been on the Facebook pages. Gary Waite, I believe, is organising that. So yeah, if you want to in Brisbane and you want a game in April with some really good blokes, play that. The one now, someone said comment on spam. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Like I don't really like the spam list. It's kind of like a one-trick pony thing. If that's how you want to play and how you want to win, cool. But people will get tired of that.
I bought all the models for a British medium reconnaissance squadron for Team Yankee, and I think it's an entire formation for like 20 points or less. I think it's less than 20 points. And it's an entire formation full of Scorpions and Spartan armored cars, Spartan APCs and all of that sort of stuff. It would be very spammy to play. There would be hundreds of things for people to shoot. And again, you know, with 20 points, you then go and get another formation of challenges and stuff to go with it.
Yeah. Oh, look, and if you play it, it depends on how you play it too. It depends what the rest of your army is. And if you're doing a theme, like, you know, I served in that unit in Germany and whatever, and I want to recreate it, then 100%. But it's when you just see people take the list because it's the most cost effective, and then you get the rules lawyery stuff, and no, this is my interpretation of the rules, and you're just like, okay, man, whatever.
Oh, Ben's saying he'll take it on. So he'll take his T-55s against my British medium reconnaissance.
Oh, good. Yeah, and look, and that's fine. If you've got spam,
that would take days. Just all the dice that would need to be rolled for all of those things to happen. That would just be bizarre.
Yeah. But, look, I think this dynamic points is a good thing. I think it can only do great things for late war and Team Yankee. And look, there's something else about command cards, which is probably a whole different story. I know a lot of Team Yankee players don't like the command cards, and that's why they play Team Yankee, not Flames. But I think that really got a bad rap when
they first came out.
Yep.
Yeah, they
And
were using them the
100%,
wrong
I will
way.
agree. They weren't done properly
Yeah,
for mid-war, and it was a bit gamey and a bit. The historical players really didn't like it because, like, what, you capture my tank and stuff like that. I can understand what the guys were doing when they were doing. They're trying to make it more fun.
yeah. To make it a bit more cinematic, or
Yeah.
more like Rat Patrol on TV than historical
but
reenactment.
I don't think it suited the player base. Whereas what they've done with, I'll have a look. I'll look that up. Trekkan.
Yep.
Panzer Grenadier Battalion in the Martyr Boy.
Company Panzer Grenadier Battalion 212.
In the Martyr. But what was I going to say? Yeah, late war. I think they've really done the command cards better and properly. They're basically upgrades for the units or historical. How to make those units or formations more historical or more towards a certain thing. The only other thing I was going to say I would like to see if they do late war dynamic points is change the points on some of the hero units so you'll actually see them.
Yeah.
A lot of the things now, like heroes or warriors, I think are pointed wrong and you don't see them. Yeah.
You guys won me over because I had looked at command cards when V4 first came out and went, nah, this is just bollocks. But now you've shown me that they've gone to a more sensible way of using them. They're using them to add the flavour that people were complaining was missing between V3 and V4 is actually now, in a lot of cases, in the command cards, which I hadn't realised. I'll buy some, all right.
And they just need to work on wording them better, I think. Yeah. And so the one thing we did do to combat that, like silly mid-war command card things, that we banned certain cards from the events.
Yeah, fair enough.
We just said you can't use the British Scout card. That was a big one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what my goal towards tournaments is. If it's anything that I think is really badly pointed, then we just don't. It's not in the event. Sorry. So. Yeah.
Hey, so Trekkan, if you were the MG gunner, you weren't running the remote control MG at the back, were you? Like, did they fire you once they took that off the martyrs? Was that like, yeah, sorry, you don't have a job now. We've taken that remote control turret off the back. So because the Battlefront model doesn't even have the remote control turret on the back of the martyr, I don't believe.
I wasn't.
Because in the 80s, everybody thought that was wonderful. Yeah, there's a remote control MG3 in a really cool mount just above the troop deck, pointing backwards. Yeah. No, I didn't realise they'd taken it off until I was doing some research for the Battlefront kit and went, oh, it's not there.
Well, that was something I noticed when I was doing the was it BMP3 article. That the BMP3 actually has machine guns fixed on the side. Yeah. In the front, which are not in the rules.
So do all the BMDs out of Red Dawn.
Yeah. They've actually got, I didn't realise they had fixed machine guns until I did the article. So, yeah.
Battlefront have completely ignored that. So in my reviews of the BMD and the BTRD, they don't add to, so you're looking at the machine guns that are actually there. It's like, okay, that's the coax. There isn't actually anything else.
It'd be tricky to put rules in for it. You'd have to be like forward firing only.
Yeah, forward firing, and wasn't very useful. So I think Battlefront have taken a look at those and gone, yeah, that's all very nice, but it doesn't actually have an impact in the game. It's not enough of an impact for anybody to really care enough to put a rule in for it.
No remote control for him, but he was first out of the Martyr.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. What's that? Martyr MG to rear OMG. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we are 35 minutes over time. Lots of people have turned up late, so hi to everybody who turned up late. Hopefully you can go back and rewatch the earlier bit where we actually talked about DP, dynamic points. But yeah, I would like to, we're going to have to wrap up. We really do. But I want to thank everybody who's come along, Spamarai and Trekan and Alan and Panzer Paints and Ozakar and Bushwookies, all of those guys. And I've missed people, but I'm sorry I'm including you in all of this. Because, again, without you guys, we're three dickheads in Western Australia in doing things to themselves in their somewhat expensive basements. So, it's really important that you guys come along and contribute to this. So I appreciate it, and I know these guys appreciate it. I mean, we always have fun. We make fun
absolutely.
of Kristian and, all of that. But
That's why I
it doesn't mean anything without you guys. Yeah. Weren't we blaming you for all our bad life choices earlier? Yeah. Oh, dear. Anyway, that was Dynamic Points. Next month, it looks like we're going to be doing Berlin German. So I better go read that and make some graphics and figure out what the hell I'm going to talk about. Adam, at least you know what you're talking about, so that's always good.
Yeah.
And Kristian, if you can figure out what it is that you would like to see in Berlin German as well.
Oh,
particularly what you would like to paint.
You should paint up some of those IR assault troops. I thought they were fantastic miniatures.
Absolutely.
Guys with
But 14th Army first.
All right, 14th Army first. And yeah, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of knees in my future between now and June, which is kind of unfortunate. I thought I was past the knee stage.
Why don't you just base coat them pink, and then you can just layer up from there?
I should do that. And then I can just not actually paint them any other colour and just bring pink troops.
Give some trousers.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to take what comes out of the blister. I don't actually hand carve them myself out of, cucumbers. I actually buy the miniatures.
Around. I can throw you a couple of trousers.
I wouldn't mind sending you cucumbers. Cucumber sculpted army. It's all brown and wilted.
Well, I don't know if you've seen my 3D printed stuff, but we actually use green resin, so it actually does look pretty cucumbery when we 3D print stuff. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you to Adam and Kristian for coming on and telling me how dynamic points work. And give lots of feedback, and we'll see what changes get made again in November.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
All right. So thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you in a month's time.
See you guys. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.